Tom, maybe can you talk a little bit about the receivers? Are you seeing the consistency in them that you want to see?
The exact timing of just some of the spaces and rhythm can always be better, but it's significantly better than it was in spring, significantly better than it was last year. I think because of that line tight end group, we're able to establish some balance where, the pictures aren't as muddy because you got to put some people up there to stop the run game, and so there's cleaner spaces. And Xander got to the point yesterday, made a comment hey, this kid here, blah, blah, and he said, hey, I couldn't see him. Because, with the size, sometimes there's certain ways you can do things in protections where bodies, you got to pick up blitzes and block guys, but bodies get in the way. And I said, well, say that again. Here they Coach Johns, because we can tweak the protection and be firmer here. But I think we're much better being on the same page. It can still get timing so much of a pass offense or a throw game. But it's, it's been pretty good. I think Nate had one day it was 21 and 23. One day it was, and that's skelly when you don't get rushed. So sometimes those numbers can get skewed. But they've been like on target 70+% of the time. And with drops, we've been in the 60s with our practice percentages. So the numbers on the pass game's been okay. The receivers are better and tight ends are better.
Any cameo on Patrick?
I don't know if it's today, tomorrow. We'll know exactly where we're close. So he's doing okay. He's a little bit inconsistent as a practice player. That he looks really good once in a while when the ball is in the fray. He's big, he's strong. But then sometimes when maybe just as a younger player his urgency without the ball. So, but also I think maybe his status has got him how urgent am I. So we know again we kind of felt we would go through this week before we really got into game planning and the season upon us. We've been just working a lot against ourselves. So his reps he gets, whether it be a lot or little, is really just based on his performance right now more than we got to feel exactly what it is.
Where's Isaac James health-wise?
Isaac, and getting a shoulder issue, but when we checked the MRI, he actually has a crack of his scapula. So it's a bone that won't require surgery, but it'll probably it'll be a while enough that you'll get him back during the season. But guys that miss so much of time, could get into maybe that red shirt kind of deal. So we're pretty healthy across the board. We've had a couple minor things. We've got a couple concussion symptom guys. It's amazing we get concussion symptoms when we don't scrimmage, and when we do scrimmage, we don't get it because again, I think when everybody's playing hard, sometimes the impact of a guy going hard and a guy not going hard. One day we had a guy, I think a lot of concussions are hitting, I always say this, no one talks about this, but hitting the turf. There's more concussions now, there's more games played on turf fields. We had a guy one day just whip his head back on the turf and then by the whiplash of impact. So we had a couple minor, but reasonably healthy. Got a couple guys that are 2 week, 3 week little ham or whatever, but we've, other than losing Jay Sean for the start, we're still Donovan with his back. He's not done anything. Everyone else is we're kind of thinking we got, whether we got him full speed now, we're going to have him. So we're kind of reasonably pleased with, we've done a lot of hitting. Our guys have practiced, I think, really good, really hard. There's some give and take. But it's, I kind of like where they're at, and I appreciate the way last 2 days we've had 2 full goes. We had about 60 plays in scrimmage yesterday. We went full pads this morning. We had a full Big Ten crew here for 2 days. We wanted to use that crew to get a lot of good work, and we had 2 really good practices the last 2 days. It's good to see.
Darius, we saw him back out there on Monday, I guess. How close to 100% physically is he, and how close to 100% maybe, preparationally, since he has missed some time?
Yeah, I'd say the preparation side more than anything, Zach, because he was having an awesome summer. Lost some weight, got under 300. So there's been some time where he could be 318, 320, 323 easily the first year or two. He's getting down at 295, 98, 300, 302 whole summer. He's working hard, had great energy in his workouts, and so from the physical side, his strength level, now that he's getting that knee back full speed, and it's kind of close. I think sometimes his doctors are going to make sure not to rush that. So I think they're giving it a little time, and based on the drill work, there's certain things they're saying he can do, but when he goes, he looks full speed and looks good. I think we're just trying not to overdo it, and I just say that for preparation. Again, he's still, to me, some of these guys that we think are good players. How many starts do they have? Sudfeld's a veteran quarterback, he's got 17 starts. And there's some guys that got that many last season in 1 year almost. So, You know, Darius is a young player that to me has a lot of football growth because there's a lot of football to play. And the more he plays, the better it's going to be. So I'd say if he's behind, it's just the more reps he gets. He's in great shape. I'm looking forward to him hopefully having a tremendous year. And I think the more reps he gets will escalate his play to not being a talented player, but start being a very, very productive player.
Are you worried?
Some of the secondary is shaking out, and what you see there, any young players surfacing?
Yeah, we're trying to do a lot of, well, again, from one-on-one to half group work to full group work to get them feeling what it feels like to be on islands and have to make tackles. Today, the last 2 days, we've done some just one-on-one tackling. There's a guy in space, and you got to get him on the ground. And when you do, it's a tackle. When you don't, it's a big play. And you're in position. We have played it in scrimmage where one of our sophomore DBs on 3rd and 4 missed a tackle for a 1-yard loss, and the offense gained 9 yards, and 4 plays later they scored a touchdown. And it could have been a punt, and because of a missed tackle. So we're trying to escalate a lot of putting them out there. Andre Brown has missed the last couple of days with just a bruised shoulder. It's not bad. You know, as a freshman, I think once in a while he get hit. Will he play with it, play through it, and how hurt is it? Tyler Green missed last week. Now he's back full go. So some of those young guys have missed a little. Jonathan Crawford's looking really nice at safety. Will be in the mix. Jamil Cook looks really good. Wanting to continue learning how to tackle better. The Lil Williams kid's probably, because the other 2 guys have missed some practice time. Well, Devontae Williams has played. So all 5 of those guys are playing. Bach, Fant, Padmore been the best they've been at corner. Dudes are still setting the tone. Tony Fields. Now one injury, Ty Smith did have an injury and actually had a neck injury, but when they looked at it, it's actually an old neck injury. But he has a crack of a vertebrae, which actually has kind of shut him down. And I don't know if there'll be a procedure, and it might be one that doesn't play, and he might get into helping his coach right now. So Ty's kind of out of the mix. That was one of our walk-ons, you know, had all that stuff, Tracy and all that. So that's been good for Ty.
Coach, we saw some of the 3D stuff.
But the DBs are doing good. Okay. Cut. Seriously, on Twitter now. They're getting a bunch of work, and they need it. But also, too, we need that D-line to keep coming, because the more they harass and get them on schedule and affect, like today we were doing, hey, it's 4th and 5, and the ball's on the 35-yard line, and Mangieri was wide open and flushed the quarterback, and the timing play was screwed up, and the defense won because of a great effort by D-line guys. So to me, it's a total team deal, and no one's looked poorly, and there's been a couple minor things that limit a practice. I miss a practice or 2 when you're a young freshman. You don't want to miss anything. So, but anyway, I think our receivers look good. So sometimes I want the DBs look better, but I think our receivers are better. So I like where our offense is today. I think with that O-line, tight end group, and it looks a little bit like it did a couple years ago. It's got a chance to be. We'll see if they can keep the hammer down, because we're challenging those guys to be good. They're close to being a pretty decent offense.
Did you have any conversations with folks at Indiana State about the Antonio Brown transfer?
Several weeks ago, they just called, and I just said, hey, you know, here's the deal. That was it. You know, here's him as a player, him as a guy, and here's what happened. And I didn't talk to Coach Sanford after that.
Surprised at all that I didn't take a chance of bringing him up at this point?
And they're going back. Here were the facts. Here he was as a student, a player. Here's what happened. And then, of course, each institution has their guidelines on what they want to do. So I'm surprised about it. Just, you know, my only thing is I wanted him. He had went through a lot to get here, and I just when the deal happened, I said, you know, you went through a lot to get here, and this is not a good deal, but you shouldn't give in and give up. Because if you would have given in and given up, you would never have been here in the first place. And so moving forward, I just challenge you not to give in and give up. This is unfortunate, this is not good, but you've done some things that I respect prior to this, and if I were you, this ain't good, but I wouldn't give in. And then, you know, we'll see where he goes with that in his life. Don't wish him ill will. You know, doesn't mean we like what happened though.
Coach, we saw some of the 3D stuff.
Excuse me?
The 3D virtual reality stuff the quarterbacks had a chance to look at. What do you
A little bit, we're getting there. Because again, sometimes, you know, we got to build a library, and it's understanding how to do that. It's also man hours, because I think it takes a phenomenal amount of time. Like if we do a play, it takes you how long to get that play? 8 hours to do a play? You got it down a little bit less than that? So to do one play and then to take it, I think you guys call it sewing, right? Where you sew, stitching. So to stitch all those frames around, to do one play is 8 hours. So, and my thing is, one, okay, I don't know what it looks like, so do I want to waste basically the full workday on an image of something I would never look at? So we were trying to go slow early in building a library that wasn't wasted work. And we've put it, beside the quarterback. We put it, here's the outside linebacker, sit it right beside him. We've put it beside the defensive end, and it was zone read. Okay, here's the zone read, what do you say? We put it beside the tailback, hey, it's blitz pickup. Now, what we're trying to do with it is create plays, but then also, what I like about it, see, the weird, if you're playing, you got peripheral vision. With these goggles on, and you can look all over, but you only got 10 and 2% vision. So you have to turn your head. And if the play's moving, it's kind of a lot going on. And you can almost get like motion. So what you want to do is like freeze it and then start looking around and talking. Okay, do you see the linebacker? Where's the D tackle? You could take the center out, the centers make all those calls and put it there and say, okay, line defense up and you're the center, and you can start looking around. So it really submerses you like you're within the, I've said for years to quarterbacks, I'm gonna run this back 20 times and tell you from this angle what you should do. And I've got 45 seconds. You had 3 seconds from that angle. What happened? What did you see? And so what this does, it gets it a little bit more real. It's not truly real, but it's more real. And we really kind of got them in there yesterday. Finally, okay, we've created some stuff, started looking at it. So it's intriguing. The kids like it. To say it is of huge value yet, it's really not there for us yet because we're just building the library, we're starting. But I think we're going to be able to, as we go through this week, next week, we can really start rolling with it. And if we have enough, it just comes down to man hours. If you were an NFL organization, you have a team of 4, 5, or 6, and that's all they're doing. Each week they're creating blitzes, and hey, you're 3D playing their blitzes. Right now, it's man hours, and it's a phenomenal piece of equipment. It's where the game's being gone. It's getting to. We're trying to do as much of our, to sit around and talk. I've been in talks where I've seen the coaches do those tailgate talks, and I've seen you guys nodding off after 15, 20 minutes in the crowd. I mean, the kids do. They're in football meetings. So it's ways to teach that get you more engaged. And the way kids are, it's just one of the neat ways of learning. I'm always trying to challenge our coaches on how to create new ways in meetings because you're teaching how to engage. And this is a unique way of engagement.
Has it helped in recruiting yet at all?
No. I'm going to talk. We just got it. I mean, we can say. I think winning games helps more than anything else.
Brady Hook said it took 5 to 6, or he thinks it should take 5 to 6 years to build a program. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Oh, what does build program mean? So based on where you're at, who's there, who's coming back, who you're playing, my deal is you always want to be as good as you can, as fast as you can, because you got a bunch of kids that they're sacrificing their bodies, they've been doing it for 3, 4, 5 years, and they ain't got 4 or 5 years later. So what can you do to escalate to give everybody a chance to win? Here, I wish we need to have won some more, we hadn't. But I didn't come in with a 4-year thought process, a 5-year thought process of where we wanted to be. We are where we are now, and I don't know if I like it or dislike it, it's where we are, and we're trying to get a lot better, and we're gaining on it. But in fairness to, we've had a bunch of really good kids come through there. Their talent level and their commitment will get some wins, and your ability to coach well will get some wins. But I'm not in for rushing things, but I'm not having a timeline of it takes time. It is what it is. You need to win.
How is Ralston kind of transitioning to?
He looks good. He's into it, and he's very serious. Our players like him a bunch. So when he talks, I don't care if it's Brandon and I's a freshman, he will listen to him, although he doesn't have a relationship like Wes Rogers has a 4-year relationship with him, or Jake Reed has a 5-year relationship with him. So, but Ralston's a very unique kid, and he was a tremendous player for us. He'll do a great job this year. We're going to treat this as a senior year, although his role's different. He's not going to hit anyone. He's going to have a huge impact, and he's the type of kid, he's going to have a huge impact on a lot of things in life. He's a pretty blessed kid.